Welcome, everyone, to Global Leader on Wednesday, February the 19th, 2025. And I am going to be parked in front of my laptop at the podium, using the microphone on my laptop and the camera on my laptop until we have tech support to get connected to the whole room. So it is just so interesting how I knew I was going to run into major tech problems. It started with, I went to my Tim's very close to home with my wife. Their espresso machine was broken, so I couldn't have my espresso. Then we went to a second Tim's to check and see maybe theirs would be working, but theirs was not working too. And so my wife said to me, she said, is it possible that the machines are all working, but the people who work at Tim's don't want to tell you something else, like they don't know how to use the espresso machines today, and so they don't know what button to press? But how is it possible that two Tim's in different locations both had broken espresso machines, and then when we got to Starbucks at her campus, and I went to get a coffee there, the espresso machine was working, but the cashier wasn't working. So they couldn't get into the cash. So 3 machines were not working on the way up here today. So I said on the way, on the highway, get prepared, Lon, you were going to run into big tech issues in the global classroom. And sure enough, it happened. So Alec, just a second, nobody can hear Alec's question. So go ahead and ask Alec and I'll sort of translate. Alec is here in person with Calvin, Madison, Amir, Gurpreet, Gurav, right? Sakpreet, that's Sakpreet, Christian, Calvin, and Aaron. Where's Aaron? There's Aaron. There's Isaiah. Isaiah, can you put your name? Make sure you're on board at some point, okay? So everybody's here. Alec, please, go ahead.
No question. So the issue with the Tim Hortons espresso machine isn't that they don't know how to use them; they just don't want to clean them.
Oh, wow. I knew, or my wife said they don't know how to clean them.
Yeah, I used to work behind the scenes for maintenance, and a lot of the time they just don't want to clean them.
Is it they don't know how or they don't want?
They don't want to. It's very difficult.
Okay. Because one day when my red pepper pinwheel was not warmed up as I asked, and it happened twice, I asked them to warm it up. I went back and it was still not warmed up. I threw the pinwheel at them and they were really angry. I was angry and I said, this is crazy. So is this grounds for me to throw something at a person if they don't want to clean the espresso machine? Or what do you think? I mean, I don't want to be mean, but sometimes, you know, you reach a boiling point and the steam has to be kind of released. Well, next time I'll find out, okay? I'll go into Tim and I'll say, do you know how to clean the machines? Would you like me to come in and clean it for you? Okay. Anyways, I just had to get that off my chest. There's a reason. Hold on. Tanisha, thank you. Somebody's in the live chat and is really on top of it. So Tanisha saying, is YouTube? Yes, it is, because I can't see a live stream. Yeah, it's working now. Good. Thanks, Tanisha. So we can have a class. You can hear me. You can hear the students when I translate. And we have a board behind us where we can write on. Because we have a lot to cover today in terms of a new topic. No guest, thankfully, because we'd have some issues around hearing the guest and seeing the guest. But we have an important new sort of topic to address because it speaks to your final assignment. Okay, so let me just first make sure that I'm on top of everything in terms of tech, because I'm doing a big pivot today. I'll work from here. And right now I feel a bit like the pilot of that Delta plane that just crash landed at Pearson Airport. No, I'm not the pilot because there might have been human error involved in this. I'm one of the flight attendants. who was helping. Everybody's seen this footage 1,000,001 times, right, Calvin?
A pilot got their pilot license over COVID, did all their stuff online.
Where Calvin has just said new information and very interesting. So haven't heard that anywhere yet. So we got to test the source. First, Calvin, where did you get that information from?
I just saw it on Instagram, so it could be totally made up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we have some information that just came in from a student sitting here beside me, Calvin, who was very clear. He said he thinks that this could be made up information. He has no idea. It came on Instagram, but the potentially made up information goes like this. The pilot, the American pilot. I have to say American. And the reason is because the Americans crashed the plane, the Canadians saved them. That's the world we're in right now. We stick it to the Americans any chance we can get. At least I do. Okay? But we don't know. The pilot may or may not have been American, flying an American airline. According to Instagram, got his pilot's license online during COVID. That sounds made up. It just sounds too funny and too, it's almost like it's too awful. But maybe, we don't know. If anybody feels like doing a little digging right now in terms of being a global leader, I would ask you to just do a tiny bit of digging and see if this is true. I would love to know if this is from a credible source or not. But I'm just going to ask for a show of hands right now. How many of you have seen the footage, the video footage? Everybody online? Could you raise a hand, even a digital hand? How many of you have seen? Yeah, here go the hands. Okay. So I'm going to assume now that I'm talking to pretty well a class full of people who've seen the footage, minus 2 or 3 people.
Well, we can only see your
I
face,
am
but yeah.
right now, and I'm making this up because I have no idea if this is true. I am the very competent Canadian, well-trained flight attendant who got everybody off the plane, and I am the Canadian fire fighters who got there in 2 or 3 minutes and doused that plane before it erupted in a ball of flames. That's who I am. I'm the competent Canadian right now. Okay, I'll stop with the American-Canadian conflict, but this is a weird time. And leadership involves a little bit knowing where you stand at a certain point, and it may not be so easy to do that sometimes. But I definitely stand with Canada, for sure. Okay, so does anybody have any questions, anything they'd like to bring to the class's attention before we do a little review? I love some of the first reflections that have been submitted, and there's some very good discussion posts. Calvin, very good first reflection. Did you see your mark and the comment? Excellent. Okay. And there are quite a few of you here that have written really well. I haven't had a chance to download the first reflections to present to you today. I wanted to read out loud some, or at least parts, but I do have some of the 6 discussion posts that I'd like to maybe read out loud as well. So I have to stay chained here because of the microphone, so I want to come and sit with all of you. But can I just say that really well done. I'm seeing only a small, very small portion of students that smell like AI to me, and I'm dealing with them privately. Okay, of course I'm not going to name who they are. They're all students that have been very good in getting back to me, and some have been very clear that they did not use AI to write their sentences, and that's great. That means that they should get a much better mark, and I will help them. But generally speaking, for example, Calvin's very authentic. That's really important, Calvin. And, when you're writing about something in your first reflection and you really sound like a person and you're referring to things that have been done in the class and you're talking about how it impacted you and why it's resonating with you, why it stands out for you, and it feels like you, I love that. And so if I had time, I would read something from Calvin's, but there are many others too. So why don't I just pull up a couple of discussion posts and read out loud, Madison as well, some good stuff. Alec, always, you're on top of it. So
I didn't really like my last one.
your last reflection,
Yeah,
you didn't like it?
I rewrote it like 4 times. I'm still not satisfied with it.
Alec just said that he rewrote his first reflection 4 times and he's still not satisfied. Welcome to the world of quality. If you want to be a person who leads, you have to communicate. You have to, okay? You can't not. You have to be able to write, and if you can't, you need to get help to do that, and I can help you. You need to speak, and if you can't do that, then get a little braver in this class and speak, and we can help you. But one of the things about leadership I found in running production company with my partners, producing, directing television shows and documentaries, writing for magazines and newspapers and many other things, including building this classroom with the college, is you get used to always being a little bit unsatisfied, even though you're never really, completely satisfied, but it's good enough when you feel you're ready to submit. And I'm not the only one who would say something like that. Do any of you know of the great American director, Martin Scorsese? Have you ever heard Martin Scorsese, one of the great, what was his latest film? He comes from the 1970s when he did many important films, like Raging Bull, or the more recent would be the one with Leonardo DiCaprio that was up for an Academy Award most recently, about the indigenous community in the US. Martin Scorsese is considered one of the great directors. Exactly. What is it again, the title? Killers of the Flower Moon. He directed Killers of the Flower Moon. If you know a little bit about the process of filmmaking, one of the last steps is the sound mix. You've edited everything together, and you go to another studio and you're making sure that all the sound is equalized, you're adding sound effects, you're playing with them. And that's not a time when you want to be making major changes. You have what's called picture lock. You've locked in the picture and you're just doing the audio. Martin Scorsese is a bit notorious for going into a sound mixing, and he now wants to start changing picture. He wants to go and reshoot a scene because he's just never satisfied. So that's a good quality that Alec mentioned, and I hope some of you might start to feel this pressure, which is you're just not quite satisfied, okay? But it's good enough. It's good enough. Great. Okay. Well, then let me just check in and see. Tanisha, you can hear everything clearly so far. I'm chained to the podium and everything's good. Let's just see and make sure. Okay, Jay. Yeah, good. Everything's good. Come on in, Ruth. Okay, well then, here's my favorite part of any class is I get to read out loud some of your work. Okay, and I'm just going to pull up. At least I've got that ready. And ooh, well, you're going to like this. Here comes Madison, right off the beginning. Okay, now in the past, or at least if things are working, I would put this up here and I'd ask the student if they would like to read it out loud. But I can't do that. And I have it, so I'll just read it out loud, okay? But I usually give the student the chance. Probably about 75% of the time they say no. Okay? But these posts that I'm reading have already appeared live on the live chat. So there's nothing hidden, or I'm not telling any of you anything you didn't already know. So Madison wrote in the post this, okay, discussion post 6, and she was at the proper word count. Actually a little bit low, but that's okay. I didn't find that a problem. My question of the week is, and you weren't in person here last week, right? Oh, you were. Okay, so then, wow, you wrote quite a bit. I thought you weren't, and I had it as, but you still got 3 out of 3, okay, for this. So my question of the week is, this is for Vicky. I just did not get any time to ask it, but did you face any challenges with your peers while growing up? I wanted to ask this, but unfortunately I did not get time. I was just curious if she had faced any problems with her peers in elementary school. I can somewhat relate to her, as I have faced many problems, as I've had a learning disability as well, and everyone thought of me as different because of it. I was often left out. And when we had to do group assignments, no one wanted to be with me, as I would write slower and use words I knew how to spell. But that changed when people found out that I had extra time with the assignment, and then everyone wanted to be in a group with me because you get extra time, right? Everybody gets extra time. The extra time group. I wanted to ask that question to see if maybe she had a similar experience. Well, I just wanted to thank Madison for telling us a little bit about her struggle as well, and the fact that, you know, she is someone who comes to class pretty well week after week in person and has spoken, has had good ideas. So clearly, whatever disability it is you've dealt with it and you've moved on and you're doing well. So thanks, okay, for all of that. Now, let me just pull up another one from some, quite a bit of you, quite a few of you in your first reflections wrote about the classroom itself and how sort of interesting this setup was and how inspiring it was. And some of you have written about it in the discussion posts. I'm going to not read those right now, just because I want to read something that's a little more relevant to the topic we had. And I don't want you to feel that I'm trying to promote in any way what we do here. But I will say something. Okay, Gurpreet, yes. Good question. Well, let me just take a moment to explain, because that's on the list. There will be no discussion post 7. Everybody's going to get full marks for doing nothing this week, because next week is a break week.
Hooray!
Okay? So thank you for asking and reminding me. No discussion post 7. I'll post an announcement about that on DC Connect for you. But what I did want to say about reading out loud what you've written about this whole classroom experience, I don't want in any way to feel that I am ever seen as using any of you to promote this class, ever. It's all about you and what you want. However, I am going to say something. If you think that this classroom experience is something really valuable, please tell more people about it. And the reason I say that is not to promote, but in a way it is. But what I'm promoting is something that is bigger than all of us. Some of you have said in your first reflections about this class and how it's done, that it's unlike anything they've ever had in education before. in terms of the interaction, in terms of the respect for your views, in terms of the way technology is used. And some have even said there should be more of this everywhere. I'm just going to say this for all of you so you understand. For those of you in the cosmos, those of you online recording, we're living through a very difficult period in the world where there's an enormous amount of conflict and ignorance and bad information. Let me just give you one small example, and then I will tell you why I'm saying this. Just today, I woke up to the president of Ukraine saying, with all due respect, Mr. Trump, you're living in the land of disinformation. Russian disinformation. Now, there's a reason why he said that. We could talk about that. But the fact is, education has never been more essential. Good education, interaction, not remote education, but people coming together. Otherwise, we will have what Einstein said will be a stupid generation of people relying increasingly on technology. And we will get people like Elon Musk, increasingly, who buy their way into power and who just was interviewed yesterday with the President of the United States on Fox News, as if he's the President of the United States right now. Please, if you think that this experience in this classroom is helping you to think more deeply and critically, philosophically, so that you're more able to deal with a world that is upside down, just like the Delta plane upside down on a runway, then please tell people there are educators who are trying to do something in a classroom that nobody's doing, that is working really well for us because we're learning more than we ever thought we would. We are tired of prepackaged PowerPoints thrown up on a screen. I'm not repeating myself. I'm telling you what students say in their first reflections, colored a little bit by my own passion. Education is not ready in many ways to deal with the world that we have right now. We all have to get so smart in our classrooms to reinvent what a classroom should be, to use technology in more sophisticated ways, and to give us all a chance to learn together. So if you can, just tell people they're welcome to come into this space anytime, and we can really learn together. So let me just read you something else that was written, and it's not about the classroom. This comes from Harmandeep, who is not with us today, but is in the cosmos. And then I will finish with this and we will move on. I thought this was really well written in terms of an understanding of what leadership should be. Harmandeep, way to go. Okay, whatever solar system you're in, this is our solar system right now, the one with our sun, but there are other solar systems out there, way out there. How can leadership be taught in a way that focuses on personal growth instead of external expectations, helping students to see it as a journey rather than just a title? Well, here's the answer to that question. Many students hesitate to take on leadership roles because they believe leaders must be naturally confident, fearless, or outgoing. However, leadership is not an inherent trait. It's a skill that develops through learning and experience. If schools and colleges shift their focus to emphasize leadership as a journey of growth, resilience, and teamwork, rather than just a position of authority, more students may feel empowered to step up. By presenting leadership as a continuous learning process, students can feel more comfortable embracing challenges without fear of failure or judgment. Educational institutions should not only aim to produce strong leaders, but also focus on helping all students develop core skills like problem solving, communication, and adaptability. This approach makes leadership accessible to everyone, rather than a title reserved for a few. Encouraging students to view leadership as a process where mistakes are part of the growth journey can create a confident, innovative generation ready to tackle challenges. This perspective empowers students to take initiative, make decisions, and contribute positively to their communities, ultimately shaping them into leaders who inspire and lead with purpose. I thought this had a lot in it. I wished it referred a little bit more to course content, but it did in terms of having the idea of communication and adaptability as being very critical in leadership skills. But as I read that, what stays with you? Is there anybody who would like to just throw a comment or two in about what they believe is significant in Harmondeep's discussion post? And then I'll translate if they can't hear you. Alec, go ahead.
My thoughts on it are more around the fact that the school systems we're using nowadays are outdated.
Yes.
They haven't changed since the 60s, isn't it?
We might even go back earlier than that, Alec, to the idea of warehousing students in large rooms where they are all facing one authority figure and they are largely silent and will only be talking when they're asked to talk. This goes back even further, but there's a lot of 60s in this too. Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. It's the way that we're learning nowadays is kind of stunting the growth of individuals.
Old-fashioned can stunt growth of individuals. Does anyone else have a thought or two on what they feel education should be leading on? If you were, for example, a teacher, you were standing in front of others, or you had the opportunity to teach, how would you set up your classroom? Let me just see for a second, okay? Think, and I'll come to Alec. Then we're gonna move on. Isaiah. I'll call on Isaiah because he always has some insight. Isaiah, if you were given the job of leading a class, how would you lead it?
I would just try to be like really engaging, and like talk to the class. Like I like the way you format the class, kind of like breaking down the traditional aspect of it. Just like
Yes.
we're listening to you talk about stuff and you're teaching us, but like I appreciate the conversation. I think that's what's more important.
You appreciate the, I'm translating so they can hear too, because he appreciates the conversation, the interaction. Do you feel when you leave a class like this that you feel a little more stimulated about learning, that you want to learn more, that you just feel a little more engaged with learning?
I would say so. I think it just like when you're learning stuff, I think it's important to like find stuff that sticks out to you, whether that's like writing it down or like taking notes and stuff like that. But talking to you really like kind of like lets me like skip that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think like the human interaction is really important.
I personally don't understand where along the way classrooms lost interaction. And I probably could ask any one of you about your experience in a classroom, and you probably will say the same thing, particularly students come from other countries. In some ways, it's even worse. My wife comes from Hong Kong, China, and she told me she grew up and all she was told to do was sit in the classroom and just come in, and the teacher would go to the blackboard and just write and write on the blackboard, and you just copy it down, copy out, copy out, copy out, like very, very old-fashioned. But what happened? Somewhere along the way, we seem to have lost. Alec?
I think it was more the industrial revolution.
The Industrial Revolution.
Because you were taught to listen to a single figure at the front.
Yes.
Because in the future, the idea was that you were going to be working in factories, and you would be listening to a singular individual as well. So you were taught in process, so that when you graduate, you were working in process.
Well, it's also, Alec is saying it goes back even to the Industrial Revolution in terms of how we ran factories and how we listened to people, our bosses, if you will, and mass production of things. So classrooms started to become places of mass production of knowledge. You all come to the factory of knowledge, and the assembly line is run by your teacher. The irony is today, here I am standing in an old way at a podium talking, but generally speaking, the democratization of the classroom, in my estimation, is the only way to go to make us smarter. Let me just stop because there's a big topic in all of what I'm touching on today. And let's get this up on the let's do, student pod, just a second. Should be, okay, so, I see what it is. Yeah. Who could make a note or two? Because we want to write some important notes up here. Alec, you've been there, right? Before? Ruth, you take some good notes? How's your writing, your handwriting? Not bad? Could you go and, I'll help you for a second. We're going to put the slide, and I'm going to give you a very big word to write there, okay, Ruth? So, just a second. Okay, here we go. The notes will still be available today, and there's a pen. Ruth, would you write down in big, like 3 lines, a big I? Yeah. A big N? I'm gonna spell out a word for you. N, a big I, a big T, a big I, a big A, a big, what's the next letter? What do you think I'm going to ask her to write? Initiative. T-I-V-E-E. Okay? Excellent. Stay there, Ruth. Okay? As it happens, for those of you online, the little broken panel is covering initiative there. But anyways, if you could, Ruth, could you go down to the corner, the right-hand corner, you'll see of the screen, you see, not there, go up a little bit, not there, don't touch anything there, go up a little bit, and then go see where that, go down to the end of the card, that's right, you see, exactly, put your finger there and pull it. Nice, okay, come back a little bit so the initiative is away from that block. We can still see it. Go back to the previous card. Swipe back. Yeah. That's right. Keep the word. Keep going. Swipe a little bit more so it's away from this. Keep going. Perfect. Okay. I was trying to get it away from the excellent. Okay. So we're doing all sorts of tech dancing. Let me just check and see. Tanisha, what is written on the card right now? Could you put that in the live chat? And then I know that we're okay. Because I'm going to teach from this. What is written on the card? Good. Okay. So we have the cosmos too. I would like to today talk about this idea of initiative. You have seen in this classroom that the college and I have taken the initiative to create something new for education. Everything about leadership is making it happen. We touched on that in previous weeks. Vicky Pike has made things happen. Michael Cameron has made things happen. Shama has made things happen. And others that you will meet in the second half of the semester have made things happen. But I would like you to meet somebody today who is beginning to make things happen and has made things happen. And I had hoped that he would become one of our sort of guests after the break. And he will as well. He will still be in the class. But I'm going to introduce him a little more formally today so that you can understand a bit more about initiative. And the person I'm talking about is sitting among you. And this is a student, like many, who has shown real initiative. And he has shown it with something that I'd like to tell all of you about, the bigger project, because all of you could become involved in this. So first, before I move on, could you just write down the name of this student? And the name of the student is Alec, A-L-A-C, man. A-L-E-C, sorry, yeah, E-C, good. And then M-A-H-O-N, Alec Mann. O-N, O-N. M-A-H-O-N. Then an O, yeah. M-A-H-O-N. I'm going to take a moment, actually, to M-A-H-O-N. Oh, M-A-H-O-N? Yeah, okay. I'm going to go to a website that I had planned to show you on my laptop, but I can't project it right now, so I'm going to go over here to show it to you. And it's called the Repair Cafe. Have I mentioned at all to you Repair Cafe yet? I hope I haven't. Good, okay. Because you're going to be hearing a lot about Repair Cafe, the international movement, about Alec's involvement in it, the leadership that he's taken on with it, and about the team that we could put together today to do something that has just come up with Repair Cafe that Alec doesn't know about, and I'm going to be announcing to him. But first, I want to go to the website, okay? Excellent. The purpose of today's class is for you to understand more deeply the idea of what initiative is. In your fourth and final assignment or reflection for this semester, you will have a chance to take the initiatives that you started to list out last week after Vicky's class and write a proposal on how you would make that happen. Literally a plan, a blueprint for how you would execute your initiative. So I want to show you an initiative today that started with just a small idea, a passion that somebody had in another country, has been picked up around the world by people, including me and my wife and a few others. And now Alec has been getting involved in this as well, and it is called the Repair Cafe. And I'm going to put the website up there, and then I'm going to tell you about it, because in a moment, I'm going to tell you about a project that has just come up in the last couple of weeks that all of you could be involved in if you would like. And it could become your final assignment if you like. So there's a lot riding on this. I want to just mention, there's, if you want, this is an option, 30% of your final grade in this class is what your final reflection will be worth. And I'm going to be giving you a chance today to think about a project you could become involved in where you could demonstrate leadership. And it's something that's doing very well as well, okay? Or you can choose your own project. But let me just do this first, okay? Let me go to Repair Cafe. And all you have to do is enter Repair Cafe Toronto. Great, okay? And you will see, okay. There we are. Okay. Now, let me just come up here a little bit. I can't move away from here. I want to come sit with you. You're looking at a small but very growing popular movement. And essentially, it's as simple as imagine a place. Imagine this classroom. And there's a lineup outside. People want to get their computer fixed. They would like to get their clothes fixed, jewelry fixed, any household item that's broken. You want to get it fixed. You don't want to buy something new. So you come to this place called Repair Cafe. It's an open space. It could be a classroom, it could be a church or a place of worship. It can be a community center. It can be any place where people come together, and the people are lined up, and the people inside might be about 20 of them, maybe 30. They're all fixers, like Alec. Turns out he loves to fix things. And he's waiting for all of you to come, as are all the other fixers, to come sit with your item and have your item fixed. You sit and you interact with the fixer. You learn about how to fix something. You have maybe a coffee and a pastry or cookie or something, and then you leave. You've come to Repair Cafe. You've come to a place where people who love to fix things are teaching people who have something of theirs that needs to be fixed. This movement started about 20 years ago in Amsterdam. A journalist, and I would show you this, but it's just, there's too much I can't do today, so I'll just describe to you. She felt there was a problem, but she also loved to fix things. Gradually, she began to establish repair cafes in the Netherlands, start to grow in Europe, came to Canada and the United States. My wife read about this, and she began to start with two of my cousins and myself, Repair Cafe in Toronto. That was about 12 years ago in Toronto. We now have repair cafes going all over the city all the time. Every week, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, we have them going. And there are something like, in terms of internationally, around the world now, I think it's 3,000 repair cafes going in 35 different countries. I'm not sure. I have to check the data. We've done and okay, yeah, I remember when. Yeah, there it is. Repair Cafe celebrating our 10 years in data. So let's just look at this. It's just Repair Cafe Toronto. 364 events have been held. Over 851 items, 81% of all items received have been diverted from landfill. So there's a whole sustainability component to this too, which is instead of building up garbage and buying new things, we fix them. We fix more things. We learn how to fix things. Our incredible fixers and general volunteers have donated over 13,670 hours of their time. And then here are the most common items received. computer, lamp, pants, watch, necklace, radio, blender, jacket, fan, kettle. I might actually show you a little video that was done by a young filmmaker who came that has won some awards as well about Repair Cafe. But the more important thing is that I want you to be introduced to this, and I'd like Alec to come up for a little bit and so that he can be heard. And I'm going to give you the podium, okay? Because I'd like you to hear about his experience that he's had and the initiative that he's taken to get involved and even do more than that. So tell them a little bit about your experience in the repair cafes you've gone to, and then I'm going to tell you about a proposal I want to make to all of you about something that's come up. Okay, go ahead.
So there's lots I could talk about. I've been going to Repair Cafe now since October of last year, every Saturday event. It started from an invite, ironically, from a professor. We were at the Toronto Reference Library, which is at Yonge and Bloor area. So when I first started out, we were there just to watch, but at the same time, I'm not someone that just likes to sit down. So I volunteered at the event. I didn't do any fixing at the time, but more just hands-on, introducing myself, greeting guests, pointing people in different directions. The first item that really stood out to me when I was there was this gentleman. He was, I think, about 28 years old. He actually brought in a teddy bear. I love this story.
Sentimental. Go ahead. I'm going to just play with the pictures, but go ahead. All right, keep going. Stay right here, okay, and so they can hear you. Yeah.
So he brought in a teddy bear. It was the teddy bear he got when he was first born. His parents gave it to him, but it had a huge rip right down the center. And so he brought it to Repair Cafe to get it repaired. We brought it to the sewing section, and they were able to fix it in about 2 hours. He was super happy. It basically brightened his day, and that was something that we were able to do. Since then, like I said, every Saturday I usually go to the events. Last Saturday I was at Queens Quay in Spadina area. There's a community center there. I mostly do appliance and computer repairs because I have a huge background in kitchen appliance repair, maintenance, as well as computer repair just from personal hobby. And you might not think this, but a lot of repairs do vary in age. We have repairers as young as 12 who come in to do repairs, and some repairers who, we don't talk about age. But you always, even when I was there, I'm still learning new things that I never knew before as well. And some of the things that I've repaired since starting, I'm sure kettle is going to go way up on that statistic, even though it's in 10th place. I've repaired probably 26 kettles in the couple of weeks that I've now been with Repair Cafe. Computers, I've repaired quite a bit. Ironically, a University of Toronto student brought in their laptop and they had ransomware on it. That was an interesting repair to do. Last weekend, we repaired 2 cell phones, 2 computers, and the kettle, whereas what I did last weekend. We also did some work at CNIB, which is for the visually impaired. So we were doing a lot of hands-on clocks. So like you would press a button, it would tell you the time. So a lot of soldering, if anyone's interested in learning soldering. Repair Cafe also does classes. So if you don't maybe have a skill in repairing yet, you can take one of these classes and they will teach you the basics on how to repair certain things. Although as much like I love the organization, but sometimes you meet individuals who you kind of feel bad for, because one of the gentlemen I was helping repair at the CNIB, he brought in his laptop. He said he just bought a bunch of new stuff for it. When I opened it up, someone had taken all that stuff out. And like to do this to a person with vision impairment, I thought was very yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
so things like that do happen too.
Sure.
But I've had such a great experience. I've been working a lot with Paul, who is kind of more of a
Paul's one of the founders of it, and I'm going to talk about him in a moment.
So I've been working a lot with Paul. He's been teaching me a lot of things, and it's interesting because every repair cafe isn't always run by the same person. So Paul likes to do more of the downtown core area. Frank, who is another big repairer, does more of the East End, so like the Scarborough side stuff. And there's smaller ones as well. So on Kennedy, there's a younger gentleman, I don't remember his name, but he does the Kennedy one. And at the Queens Quay one last weekend, we actually had one of the regular sewers. She was running that event. So it's not always the same person that you'll meet. You always meet new people as well.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, Alec, thank you. I want to show them excellent. Thanks. It's great. I want to show you all a video that was done about Repair Cafe, so you get a little better sense of it. And then we're going to break. And may not show the whole video, but for those of you who are online right now, please go to the Repair Cafe Toronto site, click on videos, and then click on fixed. That's the title of the video, okay? That's the title of the video. And here we go. I want to see, hopefully this will run. Yeah. Let me come back for a second so you can. Okay, so a filmmaker came to participate, and she loved the Repair Cafe, and she asked if she could make a film about this, and she did, and it's done very well, and it gives you a sense of this. So please watch this, because in a moment you're all going to be into a team, and we're going to be talking about a project where you could become involved in this, okay? But here we go.
Battery, but it just won't vibrate.
I've never seen this before. It gives you a nice massage.
Oh, it does. It does.
Okay.
And actually, you can use it anywhere.
It was a gift from my partner. I've got a lot of turtles. Do you still use the Bible at all?
Do I use it? Well, I will once you fix it.
Okay.
There's more than one solution to every problem, and it's fun to figure out what the solution is going to be with the materials we have available on that particular day.
I mean, if I make a cake, it falls. So there's no better joy than fixing things and seeing them work.
Oh, that's just the trailer. Okay. Okay. I thought that was the full doc, but at least you get a sense of it. And that's okay. Let me come back to here for a second. We have audio there. Okay. Well, the more important thing is to see whether any of you like to fix things. So let's just see for a moment. We know Alec does. Raise a hand and come back, okay? Ruth, you can leave that there for now, the notes, okay? So Ruth has raised a hand. Alec has raised a hand. Does anybody else here like to fix things, or just wonders, how exactly would I fix my phone if I understood a bit more what to do? Or have wondered, maybe I don't need to take it somewhere to be fixed. I can fix it myself. Have any of you ever had that experience? Raise a hand of wanting to sort of fix. So Emil, yeah, Emil, okay, Emil, Ruth, Alec, Amir, yeah, Amir, sorry, Amir, Aaron, a little bit. Yes. What's that? Fixing cars. Hey, we can fix cars. Are usually not something we do because they're small items people bring in, but it is something we have been talking about. Cars are not something we do, but we have been talking about building a repair center where there would be a large space where people could bring their cars as well. Bicycles are huge in the summer. So you like cars, or you like to get under the hood of a car, and you like to get under the hood. Okay. Can you, just so I am clear on everything here, Ruth, could you come and sit on the couch beside Alec, and Aaron and Amir, could you also sit next to Ruth, just so I can see who are the students who are definitely, or at least have some interest in fixing. And for the others, no pressure, okay? You may find that you will learn something in a moment about this project. So I'm going to assume with Isaiah and with Gurfreed and Madison Cal, sort of interested, but okay. I'm going to propose a project for all of you. And Good. So Aaron's there. I can see the ones who are. My wife has informed me that there is some significant funding that Repair Cafe may be able to tap. Some very sizable funding. And she's working now on a proposal. But in order to do that, she has to go to a number of different Repair Cafe locations and do short videos on the organizers of those locations. And there are 3 locations in particular. CNIB, Alan, the organizer. Queen and Dufferin, Paul. And the third one is it's not the Toronto, it's a third location. I have it. It is Scarborough with Kristen, the young Kristen. And Kristen is, I could show you, a young organizer as well. You've helped? Okay. Here's my proposal. I would like to put together a small production team. Good, okay. And what this production team would do through March is they would work together as a team. That's what leaders do. They have team. You will all be leaders in that sense. There won't be one person who emerges, although there might be one that you would rely on for direction, and that would be Alec. Okay? But the idea would be that the production team would go to 3 different Repair Cafe locations. The CNIB, which is for people with a visual handicap, blind people, where there's an event, and you would film and you would edit a story about Alan, the organizer. 3 to 5 minutes. A week later, you would go to Queen and Dufferin, downtown Toronto. Cool location, and you're going to meet the best fixer of all, one of the co-founders, and that's Paul Magder. And he would be your profile.
If he can't fix it, no.
Yeah, he's absolutely terrific. A real inspiration, very low-key person, but a real leader in the sense that he leads by example. He does it. He's not a big talker. He gets things done, and that's the best. When you can trust the person you're working with, they know what to do. They understand the process. They could step in and do it themselves. And then the third location would be in Scarborough, and you would go and profile Kristen, who's a young organizer there. And essentially, by the end of this, there would be 3 videos, really well done. I will help oversee this because I have a long experience as a television producer and director, so not to worry. But nonetheless, there might be in this team emerging somebody who likes videos. And I think it's him, because he already. This would be your final assignment. You will be marked on the quality of what you actually produce, the videos. You'll be marked on the way that you interacted as a team, carry out an initiative. Your leadership skills will be marked. There will be a marking scheme, just like I have on the final assignment sheet, which I could show you now. And that would be worth 30% of your grade. Now, if you choose not to do that, not a problem. You have lots of choices for your final assignment. But if you want to be part of an initiative that is developing and learn and interact with some people who are really experienced in the Repair Cafe movement and can help you understand something about starting up something that is now growing, I highly recommend this. Alec?
What is the question?
Yes.
First question, do they know that this is happening?
The locations?
Yeah, like Paul and...
They should. If they they don't, they will before you go. Okay, yeah. I think YG is going to be talking to them very soon. So yeah, for sure, they will know.
It's just transportation.
Well, do any of you among, well, first, let's see who wants to be part of this team. If you choose not to be, you're not going to be graded down. There's no pressure here one way or the other, okay? I'm just presenting an opportunity for all of you. And we're also fortunate that we already have a student who's taken this leadership position with Alec. And I think that, as you saw last week with Vicky, the really good leaders, if we can find them, are the ones that are growing out of this environment in our community and elsewhere. If we can be looking at those leaders, not just the people from around the world. So, okay, let's see. Ruth, would you like to be a part of this? Yeah? Amir? Have a week to think about it, okay? Aaron, would you like to? The other options are the initiative that you've already noted down last week. Were you here last week in person? You will have a chance to develop that initiative, or I can't bring up the assignment sheet now. There are many other choices that I can give you too. So there are lots of options. I'll post the assignment sheet in the next 3 days or so, okay? So you can see. So let's just see, okay? And what's your name again? Satchpreet. Would you be interested? Would you like to think about it? Yeah. Okay. So
Give everyone until after reading.
Okay, so take it after reading week, after break week. You let me know. I'm going to be introducing this to all my classes as well. So if there's only one student or two students here who want to participate, that's fine. Okay. So we have to visit all 3 locations. All 3 locations. Yes, but maybe we can do it so that you visit one and others visit one. I'll figure out how we're going to design this, but yes, in theory, I'm thinking of all 3 locations, 3 videos that would be done. Yes.
I've already signed up for all those.
Okay, good. So, all right. So, Ruth, definitely. Okay, so Ruth and Alec right now. Great. Okay, and for the others, you can think about it. Okay, and let's just see, can't we start a group like that in our class? Yes, Tanisha, that's the other good news that I have, which is that we can actually now do a repair cafe in this classroom. We have the insurance. Yeah, we've got the insurance to be able to. We were trying to do a repair cafe in this classroom last semester, but the college said they wouldn't provide the liability insurance. So we have found a way to get independent insurance. So Tanisha, we could do it here as well. I want to be a part of it too. So Tanisha, would you like to be a part of the production unit that is producing profiles of individual repair cafe organizers and leaders? Yes? Would you like to be a part of that too? Okay, great. So we have Tanisha. Okay, so Alec, Ruth, and Tanisha right now. And we'll return to this after the break, okay? This is just an option, so it's fine to be thinking about it. Okay, great. So let me make sure that we have everything, and then I'm just going to spend a few minutes with all of you checking in on your initiatives from last week. Then I'm going to end the class early, okay? Because I have a bit of troubleshooting to do with the college. I have another class at 2 o'clock, and I've got to get this fixed, okay? So let me just do a quick check and see if, are there any of you here from last week when you put an initiative down that you would like to develop that initiative into something? Calvin? Great. Aaron? Excellent. Sashpreet? I mean, very good. Okay. Well, then I'm going to do this a little bit old school for now to keep it simple. Calvin, can you tell me what your initiative is again?
Mine was kind of vague, but it was just trying to
create more activities for people to do on the weekends? Because I feel like a lot of people just like they look forward to just straight going to the bar every Friday night, and I feel like something other than food, drugs, and alcohol.
That's good. Something other than drugs and alcohol on the weekends, but something, so a place, a website or some kind of application even, or even.
It would just be like more, probably, it'd be in-person activities to do other than just going to the bar.
Great, yeah.
Like, I feel like all the other activities are geared towards like little kids, I find.
Yeah.
But like, and all the activities that are out there include like revolve around like drinking, basically. Like,
Yeah.
just, you know, bowling, axe throwing, those type of things. They're all done with drinking.
With drinking. So this would be.
100% correct.
This is great. So the weekend, this is a good weekend activities, but start thinking that through even more, because after the break, probably within 2 weeks after the break, so we're in week 7 now, so that would be week 8 after the break, then week 9. Say week 9, I'm going to ask you if you're ready to commit to that as your final assignment, because I want to give you time to then start to think about how you're going to put that together, whether it will be written or video, where you show what you want to do and you are describing it as a short documentary. Okay, so get ready for that week 9. Okay, Calvin, that's great. So Calvin's got an initiative. Madison's initiative. What are you thinking? Better
help the
for mental
for the
healthcare workers.
Because I know like working like 12-hour shifts can be really straining. So if I have like programs that schools can collaborate with like hospitals, like kindergartens write notes to healthcare workers.
Yes.
And they give it to them. Maybe it'll help their mental health.
Excellent.
A little bit better.
And your target market, if you will, is healthcare workers, right? It's not everybody here. It's specifically healthcare workers. Okay. So mental health activities to assist healthcare workers themselves. This is not to help the patients. It's to help the healthcare workers themselves. Yeah. Okay. Great. Good. Okay. Week 9. All right. I'm going to check in and see if you're ready, because then we could lock these things in. I could then begin to be ready for that. Calvin's going to do his, Madison's going to do hers, and then you're going to have a choice of how you do it, whether it's written, whether it's a video, possibly, if we have time, even as a presentation to the students in the final class. We'll see. Okay, if we have the time for that. Sashpreet, are you thinking of something as well for your initiative?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I mentioned modernizing blind tech.
Modernizing?
Blind tech. Well, why I choose this? Because my brother, he's blind by birth, and he's 25 years old. So I have realized in these years that the students, the blind, they are more dependent upon their families, and the education they got in my country
Yes.
is not that modernized. For example, if I take a software which is JAWS, so JAWS helps the blinds to operate computers, machines.
Mm-hmm.
They still stuck on 2016, 2011, but after coming to this college, I met a blind guy who was studying in art college, and I asked him same question about to him that what you have to teach my brother. He said first tell him to learn JAWS 2025. So I was not aware about this. Even in my back country, those students are not aware about it. Nowadays, AI has overcome JAWS. Now JAWS has built-in AI, which helps them to learn faster.
Yes.
And yeah, that's all.
Well, what Sashpreet has just said, for those of you online, is that he has a brother who is blind, and he wants to develop ways for people who are blind or have visual impairment to be less dependent on their families for assistance, and to find other ways for them to develop the skills and to learn more about what they can do to succeed, for new ideas. And I have to say that, at least when it comes to the CNIB in the video that we're going to be doing, perhaps you could do your final assignment on that, but then there could be a part of it where you come to the CNIB and you do the video on the Repair Cafe and CNIB, and maybe bring your brother. He's in India. Maybe we could design the CNIB video so that it connects to the global class, and we could bring him in from India to join the actual event, either here or at the CNIB where Alan is doing it. Alan had come here before and did a demonstration of Repair Cafe in the global classroom. But it was very minimal. Alan is the organizer, the Repair Cafe organizer at the CNIB for the Repair Cafe. He does. So there might be a way where we could organize it so that your brother could participate live in the event.
Yeah, well, my brother, I teach him using phone now. Now he has his social media accounts. He know how to use WhatsApp. So I made him organize. So I need that all of the blind students, they should also.
Well, I think that there's some. First of all, it's a great idea to do on your own, as you described it. But there might be a way for you to also join this team too, particularly around the CNIB video. But we'll see. Okay, but that's very helpful that you have somebody so close to you who is has this disability. But it just tells us more about how these ideas are coming from a place of passion. So, I suspect if I ask Calvin why you want to do something like this in the weekends, it's coming from somewhere that you're interested in, because you have a passion for weekend activities that are not alcohol related, right?
Well, I just
Yeah.
noticed a lot of people around me. That's all they look forward to. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
They look forward to
The drinking
with friends on
Yeah.
Friday nights. I feel like there's healthier activities.
Yeah, absolutely. Healthier weekend activities. Yeah. And Madison, same. I'm sure it comes from some passionate place in you, or something that you are interested in, which is mental health, of course, because I know you've struggled, and then healthcare. Are you in healthcare?
I'm currently doing nursing.
Okay.
But I know like a bunch of my friends are in their fifth semester.
Yep.
So they just started doing the night shifts, and their mental health is just plummeted.
Yeah.
So I'm really picking up on that, and I'm like, people are taking care of their patients, but
Who's taking care of the workers? And the workers, the nurses, they're quitting the profession too, right? Because of this, we hear in the news. So excellent. And then with Sashpreet, it's Sashpreet, right? Yeah. Obviously your brother has inspired you and wants you to. So there's all these, you've got the beginnings of the right ingredients as leaders to get in, to be doing something, because it comes from somewhere in you. Great. Okay. I'm going to stop for a second, because I want to, Amir and Gurpreet as well, I want to talk to you and the others about your ideas, but I'd like to give you a chance to leave a little early if you would like. But do you want to say something, Gurpreet? You good? Okay, we'll take a couple of minutes for Amir and for Gurpreet, okay, and then we'll finish. All right, good. Go ahead.
Some games, like using instead of using too much technology, smartphones and everything. I organize some games, like back in my country there is so many games. They usually kids play at in the ground and the other place as well in the open place. That is not very common in here, as that game is very interesting and it also helps people to stay fit and some kind of new thing as well, which help them to do some interesting thing as well, and they use as less technology and do not prefer to play games on the technology, like mostly people prefer to play like the subject matter and so many other things.
Yes.
So there is so many games. I like to present a presentation of the games, that how they play, like add videos of that. I like to make a presentation of the new games and how it help, how it will play, that kind of.
And what would help? What is the objective of these games? Is it for fitness?
Fitness, and I noticed that most of the people prefer to use technology and play games, do not prefer to go outside and
Yeah.
do activities. And also, I do not. There is in that in Canada there is some games that is not popular, and that is back in my country.
Yes.
I prefer to visualize that and get to know about the games, as well as it is like new experience, and it also helps for the to use less technology for the refreshments.
So you would like to design or at least identify games that allow the user to be more involved with their communities, to be more so less isolated, but more part of it,
And use less technology.
more, and to use less.
Yeah. Nowadays, most of the people prefer to use technology because of the work it is essential and the technology.
Well, listen, I'll check in on week 9 as well. Okay, so 2 weeks after the break, and that second, I'm going to come back to Calvin, Madison, Sashpreet, Gurapreet, and then finally, Amir, what are you thinking?
I have like a problem with you have okay, so you are watching a movie or a TV show.
Yes.
Or you're reading a book, and you have an open ending. Yeah. So that like this thing, like one of the most things I had, like I hate, if you open something, you should close it. That what I was thinking. I like it is about that when you have like something I read or something like a game, a book, a TV show. Sometimes I add like some details, maybe add some character, maybe add myself in it, and have like a short story that it's closed. I'm not
A better ending, better endings that you.
yeah, it's not specifically for the main story. It's for like a new side story. At least like I have something to know that it's in.
Provide closure. We say closure. You like closure. Closure for stories. Right. I like the fact that you're coming from a place that you say hate, but you hate when something doesn't have closure. But again, it's coming from a place that is meaningful to you. There's something you don't like, and you want to fix it. This is exactly what leaders do. I mean, there are many reasons why a person will take on an initiative, but the fundamental one that drives you through is you are committed to it because you want to make the world somehow better. You want to make things better. And this is good. Okay. Did you have a question? No? Okay. I want to let you go. Thank you all for being patient again with this place, the classroom. We're just lacking staff, no tech support at all today, but at least we could have the beginnings of our initiative classes. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you next week. Discussion post. You don't have to do one today. You get 3 out of 3, everybody. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. See you after the break. Oh, see you after the break. Exactly. See you in 2 weeks. Yep. Have a good break. Enjoy it. And for the Cosmos, Tanisha, and others, just to repeat, there's no discussion post that you need to do today. Everybody will be receiving full marks for discussion post 7. Have a good break next week, okay? See you then in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. Okay, Madison, take care.
See you, sir.